If you tapped on this video, you've probably wondered what it means for your faith to trigger the heavens, so much that whatever you say draws heaven's attention immediately. Right now, you might be in a moment of disbelief, thinking the career, relationship, or business you've been trusting God with will eventually fall apart. But what if God is quietly grooming you step by step toward achieving a level of faith so strong heaven itself can't ignore it? Today, I'm here to help you awaken that kind of faith, the one that refuses to quit no matter what, the kind that believes even when nothing makes sense, and the kind that invites God's supernatural intervention into your life. I urge you to stay with me till the very end, because what you'll discover could ignite a faith in you that can completely transform your life. 1. Believe even when nothing makes sense. There was once this farmer who lived on a big piece of land all his life. Every year he planted seeds during the season of rain and mist. But one year, the sky went silent. No clouds, no water, just dust and heat. Day after day, he walked through his fields, feeling the cracks under his feet, and watched as his crops dried up under the scorching sun. His fellow farmers who had quitted laughed at him and told him to stop wasting time. There's no rain coming, they said. Nonetheless, he still woke up every morning, picked up his bucket and watered the seeds with the small quantity of water he had. Several months passed. The ground stayed dry, but he kept on. Then one night, thunder rolled in the distance. By morning, the clouds broke open and rain poured so heavily that the farmer's field, the one everyone thought was dead, later became the only green patch of life in the entire region. You see, sometimes faith looks foolish, but when heaven responds to that kind of faith, what was once empty begins to overflow, and what was once dead comes alive again. 2. Act boldly on God's guidance. Amy had been unemployed for 4 years. Each day felt heavier than the last. Rejection emails, unanswered applications, and silent prayers whispered into the night. But guess what? One day, a big company where she had once submitted her application called her and invited her for an interview. She was so joyous she prepared herself very well for the day. Later that same day, a smaller company she'd nearly forgotten about also called inviting her for an interview. Amy was torn. The big company had a bigger name, a more polished office, and a position she once dreamed of. But deep inside, she felt a quiet nudge. Go to the smaller one. It didn't make sense. The smaller company didn't even look stable from the outside. Yet, she followed the peace in her heart and went the next day. The interview felt different, warm and genuine, almost as if she belonged there. After a few days, she got the offer. To her surprise, the pay was far better, the hours were flexible, and the environment nurtured her gifts in ways she never expected. Months later, she discovered the big company had gone through mass layoffs. Amy smiled and said, "When God leads you, He's not taking you to the obvious place. He's taking you to the right one." So, this is a takeaway. When you act boldly on God's guidance, even the smaller door can lead to the greatest blessing. 3. Persist through waiting. John grew up in a small rural village where opportunities were few. He'd sometimes look up the stars at night and whisper, "One day, I'll make something out of my life." When he finally saved enough to move to the city, his heart was full of hope. He believed everything would happen quickly: success, recognition, breakthrough. But city life wasn't kind. Days turned months. Job after job rejected him. He sometimes went to bed hungry, wondering if he'd made a mistake leaving home. Yet, he kept saying to himself, "If God brought me here, there must be a reason." One rainy evening, while helping a stranger fix a flat tire by the roadside, that man turned out to be a business owner. Impressed by John's humility and persistence, he offered him a job. That one act opened a door he could never have imagined: mentorship, promotion, and eventually his own business. Years later, John stood before a crowd sharing his story. "If God makes you wait," he said, "it's not to punish you, but to prepare you. Waiting seasons are not wasted seasons. So, know this: when life delays your dreams, it isn't over yet. Keep believing, keep working, and keep trusting in God, because your breakthrough is waiting for you in the most ordinary moment." 4. Sacrifice comfort for obedience. There's this young lady named Grace who worked in a prestigious company, the kind of place many her age would only dream of joining. She had everything she thought she wanted: a good home, great pay, and comfort. But deep within heart, she kept hearing a quiet voice saying, Go back to your hometown and start the youth centre. She became restless because the voice kept echoing almost every time. Leaving the city meant losing her income, her friends, and her comfort. Everyone told her, "You're throwing all you've built over the years away." Feeling distressed, she prayed and came across a verse that touched her spirit. "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me," Luke 9:23. She knew what she had to do. She returned home and began teaching a few children under a tree, using her savings to buy old textbooks and chairs. Years later, that small act of obedience grew into a thriving youth centre that changed countless lives. Grace was later honoured by the government for her impact. This recognition brought valuable connections and massive support from major organisations, allowing her to expand her work even further. When people asked how she did it, Grace smiled and said, "When you obey God, even when it costs you everything, He gives you far more than you ever imagined." Each of these lessons reminds us of one truth. Faith isn't just believing in God, it's walking with Him even when the path is unclear. So if you're in a season of confusion, waiting, or discomfort, remember this. Faith that moves heaven is born in hearts that refuse to give up on God. If this message has deeply touched you and you've gotten to this point, it means God is about awakening something bigger in your life. Show your support by hitting the like and subscribe button. Turn on notifications and let us know in the comments which of these 4 lessons resonated with you the most. Until next time, stay rooted in faith and never stop believing. I'll see you in this next video. Stay blessed.